Do not go back to your ex. You were asking for a sign? This is your sign. There is a reason things didn't work out. Close that book. It's time to go to the library and read a new one. Or better yet, it's time to stay away from relationships for a bit and heal. Stay strong.
Okay, so you keep going back to this toxic relationship and you are wondering why your self-worth is so low and why it's compromised. Because you keep on going back to a situation where there are too many highs and lows, too many ups and downs, too much conflict, and your needs are being unmet. Each time you go back to that toxic situation, you are devaluing yourself and you cannot point the finger on the other person because it's you. This is the reason why your self-perception is distorted, why you see yourself in such an unhealthy way, such a dysfunctional way. This is also the reason why your self-esteem is in critical condition. And of course, why your self-worth is the way that it is. And now you're feeling like you're unworthy, feeling like you're not deserving of love, like people don't love you, you're not deserving of respect. Now, I'm not taking away from the simple fact that other people may have done things to impact the way you view yourself and the way you feel about yourself. I understand this. I'm talking about if you allow yourself to be a revolving door or if you allow yourself to go back to those toxic situations. Who can you blame but yourself? You have to start looking at the mirror and point the finger at yourself because you're the person who's not breaking the pattern. You're hurting yourself. You can't change them as much as we want to change people. And I completely understand, but you cannot change them. That is their job. But what you can change is you. You can change how you respond. You can change what you do. You can change how you behave. You can change the situations that you put yourself in. All of that can be changed within you.
Hey ladies, welcome back. It's Tiffany Celeste. And today let's talk about not falling into the trap of getting back with your ex. It's that time of year where exes like to pop up and circle back because it's that nostalgic time of year. But don't get sucked in. You already know that text is about to come through from your ex like, hey, just checking in on you. Hey, big head, how have you been? I was thinking about you when I passed by such and such. And then what happens? You start looking back through those rose-colored glasses, romanticizing the good moments and forgetting the bad. But let me tell you something. Those memories you're replaying, they're not the full picture. And if you're honest, the relationship ended for a reason. So do not waste your time thinking about the old memories and entertaining the thought of getting back together with your ex. Don't ever forget that they are an ex for a reason. Think about it this way. Would you return a spoiled carton of milk to your fridge because it once tasted good? No, ma'am, you wouldn't. You would throw it out and you would get a new carton. And yet when it comes to exes, we sometimes entertain the thought of giving them another chance. Why? Because we're drawn to what's familiar, even if it's not good for us. So take a moment and remember why the relationship ended. Was it lies, cheating, taking you for granted, abuse, broken trust? Do you remember the way you cried more than you laughed? Whatever it was, don't gloss over it now. Growth doesn't happen when you're revisiting what broke you. Growth only happens when you accept the lesson, release the pain, and focus on leveling up. I remember something that my therapist asked me, and I will never forget this question. She asked me, why do you keep allowing this person to re-injure you? That question changed my life, and it allowed me to stop being a willing participant in my own pain. So I chose to leave silently, no drama, no revenge. I chose me and moved on with my life and bossed all the way up and never looked back. I am no longer accessible in any capacity, and I'm not checking for them either. I've also learned that you cannot remain friends with an ex that has been abusive to you in any capacity, whether it be emotionally, physically, or mentally. Because if they couldn't treat you well in the most intimate of relationships, there's no way they could treat you well as a friend. And if we're being honest, sometimes the real reason we want to keep exes as friends is because we may want to keep them around as a placeholder until something better comes along, or maybe you are actually the placeholder until they find someone better. Either way, let them go. So let's get into these clips to learn different perspectives on this topic and stay until the end, and I'll be back with additional takeaways.
me as a person not wanting to go back to an ex is not saying that that ex is horrible. It just means where I am now, I've outgrown those things I used to like. Maybe at the time I wasn't as healed, didn't hold my standards as steadfast, didn't know how to recognize red flags as well. But right now, since we've broken up, I've done the internal work on myself to help me avoid meeting people like you. So why would I go back to a person like you? You may have fit my life for that season I was in, but boo, I'm not in that season no more. I've grown, I've elevated, I've become a brand new person, and a brand new person wants brand new shit. I want someone worthy of who I am now. And if you couldn't handle who I was, why would I give you a chance with this remade, renewed, upgraded self? You can't get me now. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. If I was who I was now, you would have never had a chance talking to me in the first place. I'm now too good for mistakes I used to make.
I think that when you break up with somebody, you should not give them the time of day ever again. Okay, and I only can say that because I've done that from experience, but also if somebody was to come to me to answer the question directly, if they're looking for advice, should I go back to this person? My question to you is, have you grown? Because if you've grown, then you're a different person, and different new people and growth doesn't go back. And so I'm not saying that God can't rekindle. My fear is that you're still stuck in the year that they left you, and then they're picking you back up. And so my fear is not that the relationship can't make it. My fear is that you are the same, because you are wanting something from an old palette, and God is calling you to higher. And I'm afraid for you. This isn't sitting well with my spirit because I don't see growth. Because when I started growing and moving away from toxic things, we're talking about toxicity, I didn't want to go back from it because I had growth. When you grow, you change.
Your ex should be your ex. They should be X'd out of your life. You should be letting them exit your life. That's the whole point of an ex. You don't got to be friends with your ex. I don't know what lie you're telling yourself, but when you're friends with your ex, what you're doing is deep down, subconsciously, indirectly, you're keeping that person around as an option. And you might lie to yourself. You might say, oh no, we're really cool. We get along. Look, I got along with all my exes. That's why I dated them. But the reality is, out of respect for the future relationships I'm going to be in, I'm not going to keep them in my life. So out of respect for your future partnerships, you got to cut off your exes. And if you guys are such good friends, you're operating from a mindset of scarcity. You can't make more friends out there. Your ex is your best friend. That is a crazy mindset to be in. Once you've explored the I love yous and what's our first kid's name going to be, and I want to live in this cul-de-sac, and I want to get married on this date, because you've done that with your ex, it's hard to go back. Now, if you have kids with this individual, or there's some kind of responsibility that you two have to attend to together, whether it's professional, whether it's a family, look, that's a whole different situation. But stop trying to be friends with your ex. What's the point of it? It didn't work out with them. It's not going to work out with them. Why are you trying to be friends with someone that you had sexual, intimate relationships with? It just doesn't make sense. Cut it off. Move on. Let them live their life. You've got to deprioritize that emotional relationship that you have in order to reprioritize and make space for what's new in your life.
Girl, don't let that man back into your life. An ex is an ex for a reason. Now, I know around the holidays, oh, hey, big head. Oh, I miss you. What you doing for New Year's Eve? Nothing. Not being with you. Not thinking about you. Don't let that ex back into your life, because an ex is an ex for a reason. Yeah, that might be your comfort zone. Maybe you don't want to get to know nobody new. Maybe you used to him, but so what? Block, ignore, you strong, you better than that. And there's something out there waiting for you that's way better than him. So don't block your blessings trying to bring an ex back into your life. We not bringing none of that energy into 2025.
Listen, stop going back to a person just because y'all have history together. Accept that your past is not your future and let the memories go. Your memories of that person is what's keeping you stuck. And one thing about the mind is the mind only replays what is good and it forgets the bad. History does not mean good. History is just that, history. Let go of the memories and move forward, and stop going back to the things that your heart is trying to heal from.
What man in the history of toxic men have ever went back to their ex and said, I didn't change, I'm the same person that hurt you? Said no man ever. Y'all keep saying, well, he said he changed. Of course, that's what the he gonna say? You think that man gonna say, listen, I'm the same man that don't know how to see your worth, that don't know how to be a great partner in a functional relationship, so accept me how I used to be. I'm the same man, take me back. You think that's what a toxic man gonna say? Every man that wanna come back in your life gonna say they changed, gonna act like they went to therapy. They gonna be like, well, I just miss you. I realized what I lost. Bullshit. That's the same line toxic exes always feed you. Why the fuck you keep believing it? You think he gonna be honest about the fact that he went and tried to be single, but it wasn't all it was kicked up to be? Or maybe that girl he was eyeing that he thought was better than you, and it turned out that 20% he was getting from her don't match the 80% he was getting from you, and now he want the old thing back. That's the truth. But nah, what he gonna say? I changed. I'm better. I'm finally ready for a relationship. And y'all be like, you changed? Every toxic ex changed. No toxic ex in the history of toxic exes gonna ever hit your line talking about I'm the same.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are thinking about breaking no contact with him, don't. I don't care if he hit you up telling you that Jesus done came down here and saved his soul personally, and he done changed, and he's a better man, and he gonna do right by you, he gonna treat you better, he gonna do XYZ. Newsflash, he's not. It's a manipulation tactic. He just want to see if he can swindle you back in, if he can still circle the block, if he can still shoot his shot. And to be honest, he wants to see if you're still stupid. So yeah, if you were thinking that he changed because he hit you up, he did not. Because take it from me, I can promise you, it's a bunch of bullshit. And your feelings going to be hurt again. And then you're going to have to start this whole healing cycle and process all over again. So again, if you are thinking about breaking no contact, do not.
Saying when they be like, men only go back to their dummy is the reason why I don't give men second chances. Because I'm sitting here thinking I'm giving you a second chance because I love you out the kindness of my heart. And you sitting here thinking I'm a dummy at the end of the day. No, you're not getting no more chances up out of me.
So if you are with a mate who decides for any reason that they want to leave, allow them to leave. Don't cry about it. Don't ask them. Don't beg them, please don't leave me. Don't do that. No. You don't respect yourself when you do that. Allow them just go on out and whatever they feel like they need to do, or wherever they feel like the grass is greener, let them go. But don't take them back. They're doing that because they feel like you're so weak and you care about them so much that they can come back whenever they want to. That's why they do it.
Whether your relationship ended on good terms or bad terms, there's no need to stay in communication with your ex, especially if you're in a relationship. Let that go, bro.
That is so true.
Stop making excuses for bad behavior. It's bad behavior. You go back to the place where you found hurt and disappointment and pain. Why would you go back to failure? Because the relationship failed. That's the truth of the matter. Why would you go back to failure? And you want to revisit the dynamic. Maybe we were not good as partners. We could be better as friends. No, partners develop from a friendship. So if your partnership failed, every other relationship is going to fail. Take it from me.
I'm going to call this one, let them lose you. Let people lose you. Let them go along with the crowd. Let them believe what they want to believe. Let them tell whatever story they want to tell. Let them think that they are better off without you. Let them make you the villain in their story. Let them sleep on you. Because once they wake up, and they gonna wake up, they gonna realize the mistake they just made. And it will be just enough time for you to finally accept they weren't the person for you. To finally accept they aren't who you thought they were. To finally accept that you are truly better off without them. To acknowledge that you might have overlooked some things. And now you see that God has so much greater for you. 1 Corinthians 2:9. That God saw things that you did not see. He heard conversations that you did not hear. And he had to remove them from you because he knows your loyal heart wouldn't have chosen to leave, no matter how bad it got. So now he is able to propel you into purpose, to bless you in the ways that he always intended, to introduce you to the person you never knew you needed, but he couldn't do it with them around. So family, let him make the mistake. Let him lose you.
I'm going to say this. If you're not the person that they want, turn into the person that they cannot have. That means it's time to know your worth and boss the fuck up. Listen, you are single, not stupid.
So here's the thing. Your glow up, your healing, your success, it should never be about proving anything to them. Don't spend your energy trying to make your ex jealous, trying to make them see what they lost, or trying to make them regret the way that they treated you or for letting you go. You don't need their validation. Your focus should be on becoming the best, healed, and happiest version of you, not for them, but for you. Let me remind you that most people don't change. Real change takes intention, effort, and discipline. And let's be real, most people are too comfortable being who they are than to put in the work to transform. So if you think that that ex of yours has magically become a new person since the breakup, chances are you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And here's what happens when you do your inner work. You know your worth. You stop settling for the bare minimum. You recognize red flags earlier. You start to glow up in ways that attract new opportunities, new levels, and new people in your life. And you know how it goes. Somehow your ex will notice. They'll see your glow up because you know they're still stalking you on social media, and they'll pop up hoping to siphon your energy or to ride on your coattails. But let me be clear, your glow up is not for them. They didn't nurture it, so they don't get to partake in it or partake in you. If you catch my drift. This is where you have to stand firm. When someone no longer has access to you, yes, they might finally realize your worth, but by then it's too late. They may try to play the victim and apologize, but an apology without change behavior is manipulation. So do not feel sorry for them. Let them miss out on you. Let them experience life without you. That's not your problem to solve. When someone tries to come back into your life, ask yourself, have they really changed? And most likely not. Or do they just miss the way I made them feel or what I could do for them? Because if it's the latter, you're setting yourself up to be drained or used. Protect your heart like you would protect your child or your dog. And don't think for a second you owe them another chance just because they finally see your value. Your growth, your healing, that's a one-person job. You've done the work. You've elevated yourself. Elevate yourself so much that they are no longer your type anymore. Don't waste your time looking back. Keep moving forward. The love you deserve will find you. But in the meantime, let your focus be on you. Prioritize your well-being, your self-care, and your dreams. Because as the saying goes, when you know better, you do better. And now you know better, so leave that ex right where they belong, in the past. Comment below if you have ever had an ex or maybe exes, plural, that always pop up and try to spin the block. And if you went back, how did it turn out for you? Have you ever looked back and been like, wow, I can't even believe you were my type? And if you need help reassessing your relationships, then grab my free life audit worksheet that is designed to help you assess and improve 8 key life areas so you can get back on track and start living with more peace, purpose, and ease. Before you go, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like the video, and share it with someone you know and to your social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.